What VJ Day did 75 years ago was to reset the world order and also to reset our lives. Former adversaries, Germany and Japan, recipients of the Marshall Plan, joined the free world under U.S. leadership. U.S. became a leader of the free world at that time. The free world attempted to build peaceful relationships with the adversaries, the communist nations, such as Russia, China, North Korea. Japanese Americans, whose loyalty to their nation was questioned, proved their loyalty on the battlefield of Europe and also in the Pacific. I will use the term Nisei and Japanese American interchangeably. Nisei is a Japanese word for second generation or children born of Japanese immigrant parents. Nisei helped America win the war and played a role in the post-war development of Japan as an industrial power. Anticipating war with Japan, the Army began Japanese language training prior to the Pearl Harbor attack. Japanese is a very difficult language, as you know, and some handwritten script can be read only by someone who have resided with the Japanese family and attended Japanese universities at the advanced level. U.S. Army recruiters recruited Nisei who attended schools in Japan and others who attended Japanese language schools in the U.S. and Hawaii. After completing language training, these graduates were assigned to the Military Intelligence Service, U.S. Army. Some 3,000 Nisei served in the Asia-Pacific Theater, and another 3,000 served in domestic locations. When war was over, no Nisei was found to have violated their oath of allegiance to the USA. Nisei served as translators of captured enemy documents. They also served as interrogators of prisoners of war. They monitored enemy communications. They crawled to enemy bivouac area at night to eavesdrop on enemy discussions, carrying one hand grenade to use on himself if necessary. They entered caves to persuade Japanese soldiers to surrender. They served in special forces such as the Merrill's Marauders or the OSS in Burma to work behind enemy lines. They were in the first or second wave of nearly every Marine or infantry invasion, providing intelligence real-time to field commanders to mount counterattacks that won battles and saved American lives as well. They were attached to every unit that needed Japanese linguists, including allied forces such as Australia, New Zealand, Great Britain. Nisei working on the front lines were assigned 2 Caucasian bodyguards to protect them from being mistakenly shot by Americans. They did not take shower alone, always with their bodyguards standing close by. Many Nisei serving in the Pacific were given combat awards like Purple Heart, the Silver Star, the Combat Infantryman's Badge, which were awarded only to those who serve on frontline duty. And following Japan's surrender, Nisei, who had just fought the Japanese, used their language skills now to serve in the demobilization of Japan, also in the war crimes trial, and in the occupation of Japan. An additional 3,000 Nisei linguists serve in every phase of the occupation, from the national to the local levels. Many served as interpreters for Japanese officials who did not speak English and for American officers who did not speak Japanese. Impressed with the Nisei courage and their role in winning battles and saving American lives, Caucasian soldiers voiced their support for the return of the ethnic Japanese to their homes on the Pacific coast. because you know the war hysteria that caused all of the problem at that time.